Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I am Kevin Deveci, your host. I am welcoming you episode 147 in the American Business Podcast. Today's number $292 billion. This is the US exports $292 billion in November 2025. Quote of today. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. That was the quote of today. Great. Well, I have a special guest today in the American Business Podcast. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage and we'll get the conversation started. Hello, Frog. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Yeah, hey, Kevin. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here in your podcast. And
Of course.
yeah, welcome to all of you that are listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. And where are you connecting from for our audience to know?
I'm from Germany, actually. And yeah, I'm here a business mentor. And I think, yeah, you will ask some further questions about that.
Yes,
I have a little guest here as well. It's a little cat in front
Oh,
of
wow.
you.
Look at that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, it's already very connected to what my business is. So I'm working and being with animals.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so from Germany, it's we have already night, so it's a bit
Yes.
dark here in my background.
Yeah, you already finished the week in terms of work days, and we are coming to the end of the work time. But I'm glad that the time difference worked out well, and you had a chance to join us today in the American Business Podcast. Thank you very much. Why don't we get started? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our viewers and to our listeners?
Yeah, I'm really happy to do so. I'm
Thank
a
you.
social pedagogue actually and a Gestalt therapist, and I am the founder of the Touched by Horses Institute. So I'm working already 25 years with horses and animals. I'm an holistic business mentor, especially for women that want to bring their heartfelt business with animals into the world. And yeah, I'm a leader of a farm as well. So it's called Weidenhof, the Center of Consciousness and Mindfulness with Humans and Animals. And I'm as well a board member of a non-profit association. It's called Pferde bewegen Menschen, which means horses move people. And yeah, we have a lot of social projects. We are working with refugees, for example, intercultural projects. We have permaculture here, renewable energies, ecological buildings. So there's a lot to learn here at the farm. We had, over 600 helpers here, like from all over the world via Workaway and Woofing. You may heard about that. So we are a social association, a company. So it's a farm. So it's a synergy from all these different aspects that come together. And we have 20 animals living here, actually. Horses, sheep, goats, cats, and rabbits, and a lot of mice, actually, too. And it's really beautiful at the moment because springtime is coming, and we're starting to living outside again, and it's really, really beautiful. It's a beautiful spot. It's in the middle of nature, and I'm really blessed to have such a beautiful work environment. And I'm inviting people to this place, and I'm working international, actually, online as well.
Mhm.
And my vision and my mission is really to bring the awareness that animals are our teachers of presence, and that they have a lot to give and to teach us in these times, especially. And it's all about being yourself, living your vision, living your dream, and really go for your 100%, which means, what do you really want to live? What is your dream job, actually? Not doing anything. It's just like, what is your 100%? And I'm your mentor and your cheerleader. And it's just, I love what I do. I feel really blessed.
Yes, I mean, when we had the conversation weeks ago, I found it to be very interesting. I still am actually. This is very interesting what you mentioned. And for our audience to know, where are you located in Germany? Just for us to learn a little
Yeah,
bit. Uh-huh.
in the very southern part of Germany. So it's close to the Swiss border and close to the French border. And it's the warmest area in Germany. So I choose that area on purpose, actually, because I love the
Ah.
sun and I work a lot of outside, obviously. So yeah, it's a really beautiful area. And it's the Black Forest. And you
Oh.
have a lot of nature here. It's really wilderness, actually. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure of being in Germany for
Mhm.
pleasure or for
Yeah.
work many times. I really
Yeah.
like it. I've been to mostly the cities, as we know.
Mhm.
Never been to the part that you just mentioned, but I can imagine it should be really beautiful in terms of
Feel
the
very
nature.
invited when you come to Germany
Yes,
again.
yes,
To visit
absolutely. Yeah,
us.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
great.
very welcome.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, okay. So I love our audience to learn more about you. Can you tell us about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Yeah, I have to say that I was deeply connected to animals since I can think. So animals have always been played always a very important role in my life, and I had a kind of a troubled childhood. So animals were kind of my real companions in this kind of rough times as well. And so very early I found that animals, yeah, they have a different kind of communication. It's not so much about words, obviously. It's really about a heartfelt connection. And I could sense that when I started to go horse riding in earlier years. It was like this traditional horse riding. You go to a horse riding lesson, and then you take the horse. You don't think about that much as a child. And then I got a little bit more critical. What are we doing to these animals? They are not here that we can ride on them. They have their personalities. They are really unique. They are such beautiful animals. They have their own will and rights and emotions. They're very social animals, actually, beings. And then I started to work as a social pedagogue, and it's a lot about talking actually with the people. I had young women; they were really in rough conditions in their family. They had to be taken out of the family, so they had traumata and really, yeah, very difficult life situations. And then I found out, oh, with words, they talked to so many therapists, to so many social pedagogues. They were tired of talking. And then I found out, oh, I love animals. Why shouldn't I just combine that? Because we never talk with animals in the way we do, as we do now, which is perfect. But if you are kind of tired of talking, being around animals is just so heart opening. And then I started to work with children that were, yeah, really have a difficult life situation. And I found out as soon as we are with the animals, they just opened up. It was, I get this shiver over my body because I can tell about hundreds of beautiful moments, really magic moments where the animals are so, yeah, so tender and just lovingly towards these kids, mainly kids in the beginning. And then I started to work with teens and adults. I went then into leadership trainings with adults. So it's all about opening up your heart. We are a lot in our minds. Now we are a lot thinking, and we want to be logic and efficient and all these things. And I like to be efficient, and sometimes I find we overdo it a little bit. And yeah, we really get disconnected from our hearts. And just to look into the eyes of the beautiful goats we have when they are lying in the sun, and you see they are enjoying with every cell of their body just being there in the sun. It's always an invitation just to breathe, yeah, just to be in the moment, just to remember who you really are and what you really want to do in life. And this is where I come in. So I'm a vision mentor, and it's really about reconnecting to your own true nature. And a lot of people are really disconnected from nature, in the sense of, you were just mentioning you were in Germany, mainly in the cities. So we are so used not to cars, to buildings, to it's not really a natural environment anymore. And here where I live, it's really everyone. So everyone who's coming on the farm, the first thing is a breathe, a deep breath, and then finding, wow, it's so calm here. Yeah, I can hear myself think. Yeah, it's like slowing down, it's being in the moment, and it's being in the magic field of animals.
Yeah, this is really, really inspiring, I have to say. So thank you for sharing it with us. Well,
Mm.
what is the secret of your success?
It's following my heart. It's really, it was a kind of rough ride. Before I understood that, I had a lot of accidents. I was close to a burnout. I had tinnitus. So I was really trying to get me going in like the normal environments, for example, working as a social pedagogue. So it was very, very challenging for me to be confronted with all these families with all their multiple problems. It's like, it was really a kind of hard time for me. And then I found out I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, it's really, it gets so into my system. I really want to bring joy into the world, and it was kind of sucking me down and in, and all these stories and all these traumata and all these aggressions, all these miscommunications. So there is a lot to do, actually, in the sense of empathetic communication. And I really wanted to learn, how can we live a happy life? Yeah, what is the secret of a happy life? And then I found out it's following my heart. And this is really, what do I mean with that, is to hear this inner calling. Yeah, what brings my heart to sing? What is the sound of my soul? What is really my passion? Yeah, what could I do the whole day and I would never look once at my watch and look what time it is? And I get really excited around that, because I have so many women, people coming to my farm, the 600 helpers, and I can always see how they open up, how they really, you can see them growing, actually, inside their dreams. It's like daydreaming at first. Now it seems a bit new, but then you remember, okay, what was it when I was a child? What was that really got me? Yeah, where I just got, I forgot everything around me. And then we follow that kind of path. And then we find out, wow, everything you lived up to this moment now just serves this purpose. Yeah, your purpose of, what do I really want to live? What is my vision? And then I'm at your side, by your side. And what I did, you can do too. It's just following your heart.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Absolutely. I have
Okay,
20
okay.
of them living with me. So
Okay.
I mean that serious. I mean it serious. It's really, uh, the horses were really my absolutely mentors. I learned so much, because you can't fake when you are around animals. They sense immediately your true energy, your frequency, and they teach me so much, because they were so honest to me. When we talking with each other, we often, we are just polite. No, we don't really say what we think most of the time. And with animals, especially horses, as they are so big, yeah, you can't fool them. It's really, they are just in this majestic being. And you, I mean, you can't just take them and bring them from A to B, obviously, as like you could do with a cat or a dog. So you really learn leadership with them. You really learn to be authentic. You learn to focus. You learn to look in advance, what do I really want to do? Because the horse wouldn't follow you if you're not clear, authentic, and really have leadership qualities. And it's a rough school actually I went through. Yeah, it was painful from time to time because, yeah, if a horse is communicating in a horse language, sometimes this is a bit, physical. So I learned the lessons. And after 50 years now with horses, it's really, I would say they are the masters. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, well, key career lesson. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way that you can share with us, what would it be?
The hard way, I told already that it was really kind of difficult for me to, at one point, to decide I really want to follow my heart. The advice I remember that really, really, really stick to me all my life was when my sister said, when I was really upset because I had the horse already, and the places where it lived was always like, it was compromised. The stable weren't that the way I wished it to be, the environment and the people feeding the horses without asking me. So there was a lot happening. And whenever I talked to her, she said, Frauke, think big. Think big. I thought, what does she mean? Think big. I'm in trouble here. I'm not I'm complaining. And she always just said, think big. And this really stick to me. And it was like, okay, Frauke, this is your momentarily situation. This is what you are in. You're observing what's happening. Okay, thinking big means, wow, there could be different options. And then people said to me, Frauke, one day you will have your farm. I said, okay, my farm. I don't know what you're talking about. I never wanted to have a farm. Yeah. But these days I have a farm. So people sometimes knew earlier than I knew, think big. So there was this kind of vision I didn't even was connected to. Yeah, but they knew already there's something bigger waiting for you. And I think that's really the hard lesson was the suffering. Yeah, I suffered a lot just observing where I was, and I didn't have a clue how to change that. And this advice from my sister, think big, opened up a new, it was really a kind of new universe, actually. Yeah, could it be that I have a farm? I'm not coming from a farm family or something, yeah, from a background. It's really, it was a huge step. It was very courageous, and I learned a lot 15 years ago when I started this farm as a rookie, I have to say. I mean, I had a lot of experience with horses, but not managing a farm. That's a totally different thing. 5 hectares, 20 animals. Yeah. So you really had to jump in, and it was really learning by doing. And I really appreciate every second of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest. I'll ask you that question. After that, I'll ask you to leave me a question with me here in the American Business Podcast, and I'll ask you a question to our coming guest. Okay, so that's our little tradition in the American Business Podcast. Okay, so here is a question coming from our previous guest. How are you planning to use AI to grow your business?
Also, I am already using AI, and I'm absolutely fan of it. So I'm really focusing on the positive aspects. And when 4 years ago, I started my online business. So I was already 25 years a mentor, a coach, a therapist around horses and animals. But 4 years ago, I started to really go online, like social media. And then, of course, ChatGPT, Claude, and all these things appeared. And in the beginning, I was a bit shy, I have to say. And these days, I can't imagine living without it anymore. It's like imagining not having your mobile, yeah, and having still these kind of old traditional telephones. So I'm really a fan, and I'm a business mentor too. I'm a holistic business mentor, a spiritual business mentor, and I'm really encouraging especially the women to really get closer to this AI thing that is at the beginning maybe a little bit abstract, but to really use it in a very daily life and really get familiar with it. And it supports my life absolutely and my business life even more. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing with it. And it's really, it saves me hundreds of hours. Yeah.
Okay, so what question you would like to leave with me for me to ask to our next guest?
Of course, I have to ask that question. What brings your heart to sing?
Okay, okay,
What
sounds
do you
good.
like most in your business? Yeah,
Okay,
what is your mission? What is your vision? Yeah.
okay, we'll make sure to ask that question in the next
Yeah.
episode in the American Business Podcast. Okay, this is good. So in this episode, do you have any question you would like to ask me?
I asked you already before we started here how long you have been in the US, and you told
Oh
me
yeah,
that.
I've been here since
Yeah.
1999.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been
And
a while. Yes.
yeah, the question is, how did you started your podcast? What
Oh wow.
was your why? And what is your,
Um,
yeah, your mission and vision was that?
yes, yes. Thank you for this question. Well, my mission is to promote, support, and uplift businesses, nonprofits, and manufacturers. And we do this by creating this educational, informative environment in the
Yeah.
American Business Podcast. So that's what motivates me. And every single episode that we have in the podcast, I am also learning at the
Yeah.
same time while we are creating this educational environment and content. It's also, I always call it, the podcast actually is my school. I am also
Yeah.
learning from
Yeah.
other professionals like yourself and others. So that's why I love it. I'm also learning myself. I'm also helping others learn by creating these podcasts. So this is really motivational for me. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing, hopefully, as long as I can.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, and you're so engaged, as in the sense of, yeah, you're really, it's really your true mission. I can sense that. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, what is your career advice for next generation professionals?
Yeah, it's really connected to our beingness. Also, it's hustling. It's less doing just for the doing. It's less about doing something that I don't really feel connected to. It's really before you start a career, or even if you are already in a career, to ask yourself very honestly and sincerely, is this something, is there my ethic involved, for example? Yeah, is what I'm doing, does that make any sense for me in the wider range? Is this a win-win-win situation in the sense of I'm learning, so the next environment is learning, and it's global learning, like you just said, what you're doing is really, it has a lot of impact. Yeah, so this makes sense, not only in the mental way. It's really like, is it fulfilling you? Is it really something that brings you joy in a deeper sense, and that you really, yeah, go to bed in the evening and you feel fulfilled and have this feeling, wow, there's something I can give to the world, I receive something. And it's like this beautiful smile, yeah, when you feel, wow, I'm blessed what I'm doing. And I think it's time that we really focus on that we are not only doing jobs, that we are really creating a career that is connected to our hearts, and that we really, yeah, get it in focus. How can our businesses be sustainable? How can they serve environment, nature, animals, relationships, empathetic communication, wealth, health, yeah, all these topics. So yeah, to really bring that to the surface and prioritize that. Yeah.
Okay, so for those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way that they can be in touch with you? Any
Yeah,
contact information?
there is a beautiful way at the moment, because I'm a host of an online summit at the moment, which starts at the 18th of March, and will last for 10 days. There will be some international speaker as well, so some of the interviews will be in English. and there is everything. My website, it's like touchedbyhorses.com, or you just write me an email. We can connect that way, and of course Instagram, it's Touched by Horses as well, and I have some YouTube videos. And yeah, it's really about international connection. So even if you are in the US, just feel free to get in contact. We can have talks and mentorings via Zoom, of course. And I'm working really worldwide, and I want to spread the magic of the animals, as you can sense, really around the world.
Hmm. Yeah, this is really inspiring. Frog, thank you so much for being with us in the American Business Podcast, and thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me,
Of
and all the
course,
best.
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you so much. It's great seeing you, and I wish you a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you very much. And to our audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you very much. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you, episode 152 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. It is better to have one person working with you than three people working for you. Okay, great. Well, we have a special guest in the American Business Podcast today. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage, and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Richard. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Kevin, my man, so happy to be with you and your audience today.
Thank you very much. It's very nice meeting you. I'm welcoming you to the American Business Podcast. Where are you connecting from?
I am connecting from Central America, beautiful, sunny Costa Rica.
I love it. That's great. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Everything's doing great, my friend. As we say here, pura vida, which means pure life. I tell you what, when you get to my age, every day's a blessing. So just trying to be happy every day and not trying to carry a lot of heavy weight and just see what I can do in order to make big piles into smaller piles so I can control my life that much better.
Yeah, that sounds great. I appreciate the positive energy. Well, why don't we get started?
Sure.
As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our viewers and to our listeners?
Of course. I am the proud CEO of Costa Rica's call center. We're a bilingual, dedicated nearshore call center that focuses on appointment setting, lead generation, sales, back office support, customer support, even non-voice support. And celebrating our 18th year in business. Can't believe it's been this long, but I tell you what, sometimes you just got to let it ride. And if you have a really good run, you just keep going with it.
Yes, congratulations with your 18th year. It's a long time, and that's great. So many more years to come with success, hopefully. Yes, this is great. Congratulations. Okay, well, we love to learn more about you. How did you get started, your career journey? How your career has unfolded over the years?
It's an excellent question. What's interesting is nobody really has a blueprint for a CEO of a call center. It's not offered in college. And when you graduate high school and you have to choose majors, usually it's being a doctor, an attorney, or an engineer. I had no clue. So going as far back as my high school years, I chose Spanish. It was my favorite class. I majored in it in college. And I was able to use that to open doors. And when I transitioned to Costa Rica, I had momentum. And so sometimes the add-ons, the garnish, the side dishes can even be better than the main dish. And so I was bringing a lot of things to the table. And by having those, I guess, skills, characteristics, and just the old school grit, just to go for it, the timing seemed to be right. And you get these butterflies from time to time. Kevin, two types. One is if you're really high up and you don't want to fall, But a second one is when you're grounded and you know how high you're going to fly and you know that something good is really about to happen. And so I kind of felt that coming of age changing moment in my life. And so I've kind of held on to that magic, that wicked energy, and I haven't let go.
What is the secret of your success?
Just to be happy and smile. You know what it is? I mean, if you want to get on some technical terms, it was really extending empathy. My industry, the call center industry, has one of the largest attritions that are out there. So besides competing against salaries and location and schedules and friends that work there, you could be shaving a lot of your staff if you made them cry or you gave them the walk of shame or defaced them publicly. And so I'm not saying that I could stop the bleeding, but I definitely reduced it by extending that empathy and giving people dignity. They might last longer. Or if I'm not around, they might say, Kevin, come here for a second. You might not want to quit. Maybe you're having a bad day. So sometimes I'd have people speaking for me, and trying to save accounts, agents, or just the morale of the project when things become tiring and tough. And so that, my friends, I'm not going to give you some special sauce. It's just bottom line foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Just treat someone well. Chances are they'll stay.
Okay, well, let's talk about AI. That's a popular subject in the American Business Podcast. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
I see AI is fantastic for gathering. It will assist you from level 1 to level 2 sort of questions. But there's a couple things that are out there, my friend. The first is the uncanny valley. That Japanese scientist back in the 70s knew what he was talking about. There's a certain point where it freaks you out, where they act too human, or there's this little glitch or sort of tick that they have that repels you, that you just don't want to even deal with it. And so they have to be exceptionally careful, because you could be catfished, or when you get these robocalls. But I tell you what, I'm realistic. If it's almost like a kiosk at McDonald's or at the airport or self-checkout at the supermarket. I do understand these things. It is taking. How about this one? The money machine. We're able, the ATM. I mean, could you imagine, Kevin, you and I having to go to the bank just to get cash? I mean, it's. So I do understand there's certain sacrifices. It's a buggy whip, so be it. But you and I both know that there'll be a time when you have heightened anxiety, sense of urgency, or it's just extremely important. So you want to press 0. You want someone to extend empathy with you at the law office, at the doctor's office, at your insurance place, or wherever.
The
A
human touch.
computer can never, yeah, man, a computer's never going to tell you how much they love you. That's not right. I can. They
That's true.
can. It's just not like that, Kevin. And so that's why I'm saying I still believe that your company and my company will always have a front line of very polished, well-versed, well-educated individuals that may assist when necessary. So that's kind of where I see my industry going. Yes.
Okay, well, what are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI nowadays, based on your professional experience?
It's carpet bombing. It's, if you can get millions of things out there, you're playing better odds than you could if someone's just cold calling 300 numbers a day. And so, no, I unless you want to put an army of individuals out there, sometimes sending out that text blast, a chat, that email, the LinkedIn, you name it, Facebook post. So, I mean, I'm competing. When I saw the shift during COVID, because when people were leaving the office, you couldn't call, get Betty on the line to get transferred. All of a sudden, now it's just straight to voicemail or just straight to email.
True.
So it became non-voice. So we had to be a lot more creative in regards to voicemail and email templates and workarounds and skip tracing. So to answer your question, no, if someone's creative with their marketing, or they understand how to get through even an influencer or other channels besides a YouTube and a Facebook, there's many other social networks out there. And so
True.
even the Instagram, whatever. But for me, in the beginning of business, it was interesting because I would go on certain sites and people would say, hey, I'm looking to hire 10 people for customer support. Send me your information. And the next thing you know, me and 5,000 other people are sending it there. And instead of offering it for $1, now everyone's pushing it for 15 cents. And unless you are nearshore rates, the offshore rates in India and the Philippines and Asia were a fraction of mine. So I was being outbid by those people. And so I needed to be a little more creative. So then I went the opposite way. I started contributing on online forums, not the podcast, I was way before that, but I was doing, articles and forum posts and just doing certain contributions to other types of sites that might generate organic SEO for specific landing pages that I have that might rank me. And so for a small company of just 150 men, I was on page 1 in Costa Rica just by just by panning for gold. I was still getting my ounce, but damn it, I was breaking my back. but it was working. It was working. And so my strategy, I didn't have $10,000 a month budgets for marketing. I had to do it a different way. Sometimes it was the old school canvassing, and when people would knock on doors or set up a little table at the town square. And so sometimes you need to be resourceful and creative and just sell your lemonade, and you see who comes by, and then you just take it from there. That's usually how the biggest stories happen, you know?
Yes, yes, that's true. Okay, great. Well, how would you define leadership? And what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
There's always that thing about the fear and the respect. I don't like that. I think what's happening is people are bringing their bad experiences over to me and judging me on what happened at their last job. So I'm not going to yell the loudest or pretend to be the strongest that way. I think the best leader is, they say, the market speaks. You ever see those sad articles about a kid at Chuck E. Cheese and no one shows up for his birthday party? It happens. I mean, the market speaks. If no one shows, no one shows. And so I don't know people's leadership styles. Sometimes you may need the Marine sergeant screaming at you so you survive war, you thrive and become even stronger, or you need the grandma knitting warm blanket sort of approach. So it depends on the person's temperature and how they take it in. But at the end of the day, if it's past payday on the 15th or the 30th, and you come back to work that next day and you didn't quit, I must have done something right. And so sometimes I don't ask. I just let the gods play. And how it happens, it happens. But if there's a leakage, if there's a spillage, if there's an exodus, if you see cancers, if someone, and I'm not talking about negative people, sometimes they'll see something and just they don't know how to express it to you, but if people aren't anchoring and connecting and creating bridges, you have to understand where I'm going with these metaphors, is in something's wrong. And if you think that you can just stamp each person the same, no. Why do you think menus are so diverse? And same with crayon boxes. It takes different things with different people. And if you're capable of, my man, if you're capable of just standing next to you and not saying anything for 3 minutes and just having comfortable silence, walking away and resolving the issue, then you're a leader.
Okay. Role models. Have you had any role models? Any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Well, naturally, I got to say my family, my mommy and my daddy and my older brother. Great people. Same with my grandparents, were big influences. I had some teachers back in the day that gave me second chances and believed in me. And I've had certain sports coaches that told me to suck it up and get tougher and get out there and win. So you kind of give you that sort of edge. And I had certain friends that called the balls and the strikes and were straight with me. And those are some of the best people too, that they respect you enough to tell you might need some gum or fix your tie, and things happen. But let's talk business. In regards to my own personal career, I gravitated more towards speakers. And I was easily distracted and bored. So I like television and movies like everybody does. And so I will mention 3 individuals that I studied, not enjoyed, studied. And sometimes I had to look up their vocabulary. The first person I'll mention is Dirk Benedict. He was the face man, Templeton Peck, in the A-Team and the original Starbuck and Battlestar Galactica. I thought his speaking style, his North American, Anglo-Saxon style, was very choice. And then my second influence was Pierce Brosnan, before James Bond, when he was Remington Steele. I can't speak like he can, his European style, but the delivery was perfect, and it was poised and it had character. I studied that, plus the vocabulary. Half of them were SAT words to look up stuff. And then the greatest teacher for me was an actor named Basil Rathbone. He was Sherlock Holmes back in the 30s and 40s with Nigel Bruce. He did like 17 movies and a bunch of old-time radios. If I tried to imitate him, Kevin, you would laugh at me and go, "What's wrong with you?" His entire stuff, it's like opening up a dictionary. But I felt his rhetoric, and when people would attack him, the way he would handle himself and respond with being stoic and with balance and poise, that got studied. I'm just watching individuals that are such advanced communicators, and then I would take these things and I would use it and it would work. Like for an example, instead of saying, "How may I help you?" You don't use words like that. You say, "Yo, Kevin, how may I assist you? How may I guide you? How may I lend a hand?" And instead of saying, "Excuse me," you say, "For my clarification," or "For my edification." And I said, wait a second, what these guys are doing is readjusting the tone. So they keep it positive and they minimize any sort of rabbit holes. And I said, that's a very interesting way to play. Is it manipulation? I'm not lying to you, but I have rhythm and I have vocabulary and I'm ready to go. And so expect 30 seconds to turn into 5 minutes and a conversion. And so that's the kind of fun game that we play, my friend, where we dance with words and we jump clouds. That's how we play the game.
I love it. Okay. Well, key career lesson. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons I learned is not to be hard on myself. Why would you put additional weight on yourself? Why would you put rocks in your backpack? And so looking back on certain things, sure, you're human, you feel things, but such wasted time, energy, distraction. And let's say you and I are hanging out having a burger and all of a sudden you ask me a question and I'm mean back to you, like, "Richie, what's wrong with you?" That's not fair to you, Kevin. With such limited time we have just to go hang out, why would you bring that with you? And so it's easier said than done. And I think two of the biggest lessons that somebody can learn in business is impulse control and maturity. Take it any way you want. Look at it anyway. But those are the two biggest things I think people need to chew on.
Okay. Well, we have a little tradition in American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest, and I'll ask you to leave a question with me in this episode. So I'll take the question and ask to our coming guest.
Sure.
Here's the question from our previous guest. Is it a good time to start a startup company nowadays?
I think carpe diem. Who knows if we're ever going to be here tomorrow? And when you say starting a company, it could just be as simple as just drawing what the logo looks like, or thinking what the jingle is going to be, or what the uniform is going to look like. Doesn't mean you need to throw $15,000 out on something. And so depends on the stage, but I think today is the best day to start anything. And depending on your resources and time, that's where your priorities are. And my company started, I guess, from conversations with 2 or 3 friends. I was in between jobs. They said, do with what you know, and they started the business. And it seemed overwhelming, but where I'm at today by owning a call center, a server room, and staff was a lot different than it was 18 years ago when I was renting a turnkey station at a blended call center, like an internet cafe. I didn't have the bells and the whistles. It's not a private office. But I was able to scale accordingly and be responsible with my money. So somebody else was in charge of the server room, the internet, the coffee, and the toilet paper. I just had to make sure people got paid that month. The campaign was happy. I did my training in QA. And then you bring on additional responsibilities. It's like taking the training wheels off. And so if anything and nothing, instead of paying for a huge website, why don't you just start with a Facebook fan page? And instead of hiring staff, why don't you do something that might be either automated, or if you don't really have the budget, to just pay per minute or pay per call at some of these blended centers, so someone live answers the call for you. There's many ways to start small, but at least it starts. And if you can save time here, then you can invest it there. And what was interesting initially with the SEO was, if you made a post somewhere and 150 people saw it, there's a chance that maybe 10 people might click through the call center, because you can look at your analytics and see where things come in. And then if you do that 1,000 times, that's just one way to get all the different hits from different countries. And it's a gift that keeps on giving. It just took time. And so, as I'm saying, while you're watching your movie, you could be putting ads in 5 different places. When you're on the treadmill or you're in your car, there are things you can do proactively where you can multitask. And so that's all I'm saying, is that if you just calm down and slow down, and you take everything you have, all these messed up wires that are all connected. Said it earlier, Kevin, just separate the big piles to smaller piles. And then things become so much more manageable. And so, as I say before, my friend, I think health is important. That if you're not healthy, you're not good to anybody, and you'll be less than. And, you know, the gym to me is structure and discipline. I've been doing it since I was 17. So I can't force you to go to the gym. But if you can do these sort of things to release stress and then to bring in good energy and to take care of yourself, chances are, my brother, you can play the long game, and you have the endurance to make it, and you don't feel so puffed out on a Wednesday. You have the energy to run through, if that makes any sort of sense. And
Absolutely.
I get passionate towards this because I've done it myself, and so have you. And the people that are listening and watching this today, they all are on their own self-march and forced march. And just let you know that Kevin and Richard have your back, especially during those times when the cameras are off and no one's around and you're by yourself and let's say your head's on your pillow and you have those deep thoughts. My main thing is don't quit. Go the distance. Take your hits, but keep going. And that's the most important thing about being an entrepreneur that can last.
Yes, I like the fact that you actually emphasize wellness and self-care. Very important for professionals, for the resiliency.
Well, you and
endurance.
I weren't good looking. We were lucky, but some people have to work at it. No, but that's just my point. But no, it's true, my man. You need to have a release somehow, some way. If not, you'll just be in a weird bubble.
Okay, what is your question for the next guest?
Okay, next guest. What is your secret sauce in regards to hiring top talent?
I love this question. Okay, great. Well, do you have any question that you'd like to ask me in this episode?
Hey, I asked you this earlier, where you got your glasses. You're a good-looking cat. I know you said it was one of your sponsors.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, we are promoting zenni.com. So we got it. So I got it online basically. So yeah, I have a bunch of glasses. So I have a really large collection actually. So
Kevin, my buddy, tell me where you're from originally.
I'm originally from Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, my journey in US started in 1999. Yeah, so I came to US to study my master's. That was the beginning
your
of my
master's in?
So, direct marketing. So marketing is my expertise. Yes.
Not only was I complimenting the glasses, but you actually are smart with or without glasses. That's great. Did you read all those books behind you? What's going on?
I'm working on it.
Man, I love the American Business Podcast. Now, you really give some gems out there. You make your guests feel exceptionally comfortable. I hope I was able to share some insights.
That was great.
That was great. CEO tick, you know?
Yes. This is actually our mission, right? So we are learning from you today. So it's important that we listen and you share your insights. And that is our main mission, to create this educational informative environment. What is your career advice for next generation professionals? How they should prepare
Oh,
themselves?
they're going to think I'm nagging, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to give you an example. So I walk into my lunchroom, right? 50 people are sitting in there. Tables are packed. Everyone's on their phone. Every single one. And they're all watching Japanese anime and other things. Still don't get that. But that's not the point. The point is you got 8 people sitting at a table, even co-ed tables, which is even cooler. And so why aren't you talking? Talk to the girls. See what's going on. And so I would walk over and I'd start teasing them. And then I would make a joke. I go, if this were the Breakfast Club, you couldn't even make that movie. And they looked at me like, what's the Breakfast Club? Oh, I forget it. Forget Fast Times and Ferris Bueller. But my suggestion, and it's a big suggestion, is put your phone down, because I'm with you now. Really with you. Being on that phone is telling me that whatever you're doing there is more important than me. And I understand there's emergencies and circumstances, but if it's Candy Crush or something else, I mean, it's just not right. And so you will go to the parks and you'll see the high school kids getting out of school, and you'll see the groups of people around. And some play soccer, some talk, but the majority of them are on their phones. And so I love the phone. I know that it's great, but my suggestion is if you're ever live, like at a theater, it's different than a movie. So anytime you're in live life, put the phone away. It's 10 times better than anything you can get on that little screen. Sit with these people, take it in. And maybe your senses will start kicking in. You might smell things, hear things, and see things because you're in the now. What a beautiful thing. And so what I've seen, and I'll just say it in a very diplomatic way, but the people that we're hiring that are 18 to 22, let's just say, could even be a little bit older, they're extremely intelligent, they're learned, but they are lacking in specific interpersonal social skills. It doesn't mean that they are low class, they're rude or crude. I didn't say that. But their body posture, their reaction times and their reaction levels, their eye contact, their ability to ask follow-up questions, their ability to retain information live, the ability to structure certain conversations so it concludes and goes in certain directions. And that's okay. But I mean, imagine you and I, how we grew up. I see us more of like a circle, when these guys are more of just a straight line, but 5 times the size. I think I'd rather have a 1 that goes into a circle than 5 that could just go straight in one way. 5 rockets in one area doesn't help. And so, and also in regards to emotional maturity, you have to be extremely selective of your vocabulary because of the delicacy of talking. And so guess what? Almost like math. If you do 2 + 2 = 5, you got to show them, and Billy's got to get it. With me, I have the actual QA call. So I go, Kevin, the guy said he's from New York. You're writing down Jersey. He said 850, not 853. So all I do is when those calls are going, I'll just look at you and go, and then you look at me and you go, yeah, I Kevin, you're better than that. And so sometimes the mirror speaks for itself. I have the luxury of something where it's you doing you. So if you said ABC instead of 1, 2, 3, that's you. And so it allows me that buffer. It allows them, con calma, with tranquilidad, to listen to these calls, to review it again, to allow me to interject and suggest, practice, put in, and back again. And so, unfortunately, I have to give about 2 to 6 weeks worth of soft skills, bedside manner training. to get them up to speed of where it was 15 years ago. And so that's my thesis
Yeah,
on
very
the next
important.
generation.
Yes. I and to your point, absolutely. I mean, the more that we use technology, and that's also inevitable, we are using more of these devices more often than before. Now AI is coming in; it's becoming part of our lives in different ways, and these social skills that you pointed, it's becoming more and more important. Eventually, humans like to interact with humans, and we need to have these skill set. So absolutely, very very important in any business setting in any industry. So
You want to know one of the tests that we do for fun when we role play?
right.
So we'll do role playing, right? And we're talking, and then all of a sudden I'll tell my supervisor to put a dog in the background barking. Kevin, you should stop and ask me, hey, I love dogs, because I hear your dog. And Kevin's like, I love dogs too. And then you have to, this is where you know the guy's smart. What's the name of your dog? His name is Scrappy. What type is your dog? It's a Maltese. How old's your puppy? Puppy? Ha ha ha, Scrappy's 10. That's all I need. Scrappy, Maltese, 10. And so when I call you back to confirm the appointment that we set for next Thursday to come by your house to talk about your solar panels, all of a sudden I'll go, whoop, whoop, whoop. How's Scrappy doing? Yeah, I love that Maltese, your 10-year-old puppy. And then you just start, and you go, Richard, you remember? Of course I do.
I
Oh,
love the
by the
report.
way,
Yes.
another bit of advice, if I may.
Hmm.
It's called a positive escalation. Let me ask you a question. You have an individual at your company, Kathy, correct?
Yes.
Did an excellent job setting this up. And so I wanted to give a verbal positive escalation to Kathy as part of your organization who did a phenomenal job. And so when I would make my prospecting phone calls and I would speak to him as Kathy, besides asking to speak to you, Kevin, and being transferred, I would mention to you verbally that, and then when I sent the email to you, I would mention her as well. So when I call your company back next Thursday and she answers the phone, guess who gets the hero's welcome? So if you want people to learn how to earn that pass the pitch and not compromise ethics, values, and morals, do things like that, Kevin. Because when you mention Kathy's, you get on your podcast, the American Business Podcast, because you're nice to Kathy and you follow up. And so that was a very good lesson for me to learn about the strength of your organization.
Yeah, these are great tips. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, of
Totally
course.
appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Well, for those who like to continue this conversation with you and learn more about your organization, what is the best way that they can be in touch with you and learn about your company?
Well, they should buy a plane ticket and fly down here, especially when it gets freezing up there in New York. You know what I mean? But if they want, they can send me an email, CEO at Costa Rica's callcenter.com, or call me, 888-271-6750. And if someone just shoots me an email and says, yo, here's a script, heard you with Kevin, what do you think? I'll be more than happy to review it and send my suggestions back. But my man, I can't thank you enough. I had the greatest time with you today.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much for sharing your professional insights and your professional wisdom with us today. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you again in the American Business Podcast.
Thanks, pal.
Thank you. Have a great day. And to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I am welcoming you episode 146 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Today's number 21.6 trillion. Total assets for US banks were around $21.6 trillion as of early 2026. Quote of the day: there is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it is going to be a butterfly. Alright, we have a special guest in the American Business Podcast today. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage and we'll get the conversation started. Hello Ryan, welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hey Kevin, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Happy Friday. How are you? How is your week going so far?
I am glad that it's almost over, but I don't think I accomplished half of what I needed to. So, yeah.
Well, there is always another day, so it's all good. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the American Business Podcast. Well, we have a lot to cover, if that's okay, because I've been waiting for this conversation, and I love our audience to learn from your professional insights and your professional wisdom. Well, let's get started with introductions. As a start,
Uh-oh.
would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our viewers?
Absolutely. So my name is Ryan Otto. I'm the president of Accent Financial Services. I'm also let's call it the founder, inventor of tax smithing. So between those two things, we try to help people with tax and accounting needs, and also with strategy and helping people to kind of figure out their lives and put their lives together in a way that helps reduce tax and protect assets and all that kind of stuff. So we love dealing with small business people, and I'm excited to be here talking about it today.
Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I am welcoming you episode 146 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Today's number 21.6 trillion. Total assets for US banks were around $21.6 trillion as of early 2026. Quote of the day: there is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it is going to be a butterfly. Alright, we have a special guest in the American Business Podcast today. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage and we'll get the conversation started. Hello Ryan, welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hey Kevin, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Happy Friday. How are you? How is your week going so far?
I am glad that it's almost over, but I don't think I accomplished half of what I needed to. So, yeah.
Well, there is always another day, so it's all good. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the American Business Podcast. Well, we have a lot to cover, if that's okay, because I've been waiting for this conversation, and I love our audience to learn from your professional insights and your professional wisdom. Well, let's get started with introductions. As a start,
Uh-oh.
would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our viewers?
Absolutely. So my name is Ryan Otto. I'm the president of Accent Financial Services. I'm also the, I don't know, let's call it the founder, inventor of tax smithing. So between those two things, we try to help people with tax and accounting needs, and also with strategy and helping people to kind of figure out their lives and put their lives together in a way that helps reduce tax and protect assets and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
we love dealing with small business people, and I'm excited to be here talking about it today.
Absolutely, this is a great opportunity for us to learn from your professional background as well. And you just mentioned you work with small businesses in US, and this is great because we are the American Business Podcast. We are the voice of American business, and we definitely welcome any professional who is working with actually small businesses because the American